So here we are. Where are we at? Tell me.
Valley Forge National Park.
What are we looking at right now?
This is a replica of all the huts that the soldiers had to build to live in. What?
It's the encampment tour.
The encampment tour, sorry.
The encampment tour. So we're gonna go and check out a
Team hut.
team hut. Team hut.
So depending on your rank and status, you either had 12 dudes in here with you, or maybe just one other roommate.
And a fireplace.
And fireplace. So it's like the Uber team room.
Yeah. It's kind of cool, some of the stuff that's not only in the huts, but like on the walls, talking about like day-to-day life and how basically eclectic and mixed up everybody was. Got guys from all different states, like slaves, free blacks, dudes from different countries. Like it was just a very eclectic mix of characters that lived here, which is very similar to what the Army's like now.
Yeah, they would have had straw on the floor. Did they get straw enough all the time? No. They would have slept in the straw mattress, like right there. That's what they're sleeping in. Not the wooden planks that you saw before.
Mm-hmm.
We only got one on display, unfortunately. But it really gives you a good idea. Dirty, dark, buggy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Crowded. You name it going on in here.
Better than outside.
Yeah, but a lot of times they're going to be outside doing what they need
Yeah.
to do. So really they're only going to be in here for sleeping at night.
Yeah.
It actually is going to be warmer in here than at Washington's headquarters. You've got one entrance in here. Park Service did a temperature study about 15 years ago, and they determined that it was 20 to 30 degrees warmer in the hut than outside when you get that fire going.
Oh yeah.
Are you revolutionary sized? I mean, you pretty much are.
It seems alright to me.
Oh, jeez. You probably slept in worse.
I think a hammock's worse.
A hammock is worse?
I think so.
I thought you liked a hammock.
I mean, it's alright, but you can't lay on your side or in your belly in a hammock. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So once you're in it, that's the way it is.
That's not how it is, Ian.
On these ridge lines, there were about 2,000 of those small huts. You know, they're about 10 by 10, I'd say, maybe 15 by 15, depending on each individual one. They housed 2 officers or 12 enlisted guys. And,
Officers near, farther back from the front line.
yeah, living conditions were Spartan, right? And but if you turn around here, also we see what they called the Grand Parade, right? So during that winter, 1777, kind of was when General Washington reorganized the American or the Revolutionary Army into a more uniform, like squared away army, and he did it with the help of Baron von Steuben, who was a Prussian general. Basically wrote the first drill manual for the Americans, and he drilled them out on this field, which at the time obviously there were no trees there, stuff, but called this the Grand Parade. And at the end, basically in the spring of 1778, right, when the Americans link up with the French and announced their allegiance, they had a big, huge pass and review on this field of the Continental Army for a bunch of French dignitaries to like show them that like, hey, we're not a bunch of ragtag loser farmers. We're actually like a real army, and we're gonna kick the British ass. So when they did that, had a big thing, and it was cannon fire and musket fire and drill and ceremony and pomp and circumstance and all that. And obviously we went on to victory from there.
What's that in the background?
If you see like way up on the hill, that is the George Washington Chapel, right up there. Basically across the valley on another ridgeline.
lunch? What have you learned?
So we're sitting behind General Washington's Valley Forge residence / headquarters building, right? His house, right? He and Martha wintered there, 77, 78 winter. And during that time, the Continental Army kind of reorganized itself. Anyway, behind the house, we're sitting out here where the Commander-in-Chief's Guard Force resides, right? And there's some cabins up there. We're gonna go check those huts out in a minute, but it struck me as cool because they were specially selected guys that Washington kind of handpicked, and they all had to be native-born Americans because they figured they'd be more loyal back then. And he wanted them legit, like between 5'7" and 5'10", wanted them to be clean, like presentable, all that stuff. But they were basically model soldiers of the time, right? And when von Steuben arrived to train the Continental Army, he recruited more soldiers from outside of Virginia, also Native Americans, to plus the numbers up to about 100 guys, which then became his initial training company that he trained up, and those guys became the core cadre for training the rest of the Army. And it kind of reminded me of a very similar charter that we've had recently in our Army, you know, and the Ranger Charter, some might be familiar. And they're all supposed to disperse around the Army to set the example for others, and I think that's also in the creed, but it just struck me is all. Thought it was pretty cool. So we're gonna go check out these huts. What do you see?
Water.
Ah,
It's going under. Making its way out of here too. Even the best of the best had to sleep 12 to a room.
it looks that way.
Oh my gosh. Maybe being this close to the headquarters, you got to eat a little bit better than the other guys.
Maybe. There's a pretty legit kitchen down there.
Although I read up there at the top, they went through 168 pounds of flour a day making bread and stuff for everyone.
It also strikes me that in the huts there's 12 guys,
Right.
like a 12-man team.
Yep.
Weird.
It's perfect.
No connection, but just kind of like it. Weird. Ready?